Hello, everyone, and welcome to my show, My So-Called Fabulous. It is great to see and hear you, right? Because you can see me, of course, and hear me as well. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, chef, cookbook author. I love everything fabulous: fashion, beauty, interiors, fitness, and health. Which brings me to health. And that's what we're talking about today. Goodness gracious. Today I'm going to talk about real life, real things that happen, things that just happen in your life, and my health. What's going on with me? So I told you, oh gosh, a few weeks ago in January, I turned 55. And it's that age you just didn't realize you were ever going to be 55. Like, how in the world did that happen? I don't even know how that happened. But it did. It happened. And, to me, I remember turning 20, 30, 40, 50, and life changes. Like I lost my vision started going downhill in my 40s. It's like I woke up one day and went, hey, I can't see. And I had 20/20 my whole life. But 55, this has done something to me. Someone explain to you, because what I also want from you, I need to hear from you because I need your help as well. If you can please go to my Instagram or my Facebook at Tiffany C. Blackman is my Instagram, or my Facebook. Please let me hear from you because I am just wondering what's going on with the world. Now, I'm hitting this 50 demographic. I am smack dab right in the middle of menopause. So I said it, there it is. It's Mother Nature. She's not very nice. We've said that before. She's just not been very nice lately. So menopause. So this is what's going on. So I turned 55, and sure enough, my knees go out, and the doctor's like, well, your tread's going out. It's like your tires. I'm like, well, you can't really get new. Please tell me I don't have to get new knees. So what it is, you need hyaluronic injections because you're losing the cartilage in your knees. Have you ever had that happen? I mean, seriously. So I'm going to blame a little this on my daddy because in a little DNA, because yes, he has the same thing and he just had his second knee replacement. So bottom line is we've been fighting with insurance for about 4 weeks now. And it looks like maybe next week I'm going to have these injections in my knee, my left knee. So I'm praying because I actually last weekend. So many of you that know me and many of my followers, I work out 6 days a week. I do 3 days strength training. I sprinkle some cardio in, and 3 days reformer Pilates for my back and my spine because I have a terrible spine. But so I've had to curve my workouts, and one of my sports therapists told me, do not stop working out. Keep moving. Moving is so very, very important, but listen to your body and listen to the pain. So unfortunately, last Saturday, I was in Austin and I just couldn't get out of my pajamas. And, a lot of it, I was just thinking, it's my knee and I feel like crap and blah, blah, blah. But, we're going to get help on that, but I'm just curious, those of you that have had this, where am I headed? Am I really headed to a knee replacement? But then my back. But I also think, because I've told you all before, my back, I have severe spine issues. I have fusion in my neck, my cervical, 2-level disc replacement. Actually, the physician that replaced Tiger Woods or did its low back surgery did mine. And I have an implant in my lumbar. And so that's really fun too. But I think what's going on is because I overcompensate, I work out, and I think I'm just it's like the doctor said, my wheels are coming off a little bit. But what do you all do out there? I mean, what do you do? I can't stop, and I'm not going to stop. And you would say, well, maybe the pain, if it's bad enough, it will stop. But, I'm going to get this fixed. But back to my 55. So hormones and lack thereof. So, when you're young and vivacious, you have, we talked about before, you have collagen and you have all of these wonderful, these hormones. And my sister and I have talked about my nephew. He's 16, 17, 18 years old, and the boys are full of testosterone, and they're just ready to go and just very, they love the girls. And so you have that age, then they start declining. And in the 50s, 55. So yesterday I go to my doctor, my hormone doctor. So mind you, I'm transferring doctors from Austin to Fort Worth. So went to my doctor, did a series of lab tests. Now I'm going to have a disclaimer here. This is my experience. I am not giving you advice. I am actually asking advice from you, but I am just going from my experience, and we're going to all talk about this together. So I do a saliva test and I do a blood test, and all of this to find out my hormones, just see exactly where I am. And lately, I'm going to use the word, my husband would have a different word for it, but he would call it a little bit fussy. So I've been a little fussy lately, especially this past weekend. So I had to have a come to Jesus with Greg. But so the decline of the hormones. So my doctor sits me down yesterday and she looks at me and she's like, I just need to ask you how you're feeling. I said, I'm not feeling well at all. And she said, are you angry? I'm like, well, I'm happy. I'm a happy person, but I'm frustrated. Well, tell me this. So, give me your symptoms. I'm like, well, all right. So I everything in my body is dry. I mean, guys, I'm so dry. Everything. I just went to the dry bar and got my hair done. They just washed my hair. And you know what she said to me? She said, you know what, next time you might want to do this different treatment because you have dandruff. And I'm like, what? Oh my goodness. I was making fun of kids in junior high that had dandruff. My goodness. So I'm like, okay, all right. Something's got to happen because I'm dry. Everything, my hands, my skin. So, my face, everything. So no sleep. That's another. I'm not sleeping. I bet you I have not slept a full night's sleep in over 8 months, 6 to 8 months. I think I backed it up to the last time I actually slept all night. Do you have that problem? I've done everything. So I'm taking melatonin. I've taken my sweet friend Hillary gave me Calm, the magnesium. I'm taking L-theanine. I actually am taking a prescription medication of quinapine, which is to me controversial. Because it is it's a drug that I really don't want to be on the rest of my life, but I can't do without it. So none of these things are working. So I'm talking to my doctor and she said, well, you're estrogen dominant and your testosterone is the level of some men that come into my office. And I'm like, what? How did this happen? So basically, it's almost like it is. There's no basically to it. I am overloaded on testosterone. I'm overloaded on estrogen. I'm perfect. Everyone know I'm fabulous in my progesterone. That's good. But then she asked me, she goes, your DHEA, are you taking? Now, mind you, everyone, I really don't know what I'm talking about. I can just give you what I'm doing. But she said, how's the DHEA? How are you taking that? And I went, I'm not. And so somehow my body and the hormones that are in my body now are producing DHEA, which is good, but we don't want to overproduce it. So I'm just like, oh my goodness, how in the world did this happen? And she said, by the way, your cortisol levels are high and your adrenals are through the roof. Is there anything going on in your life? Like, is there anything going on in my life? Oh my goodness, of course there's things going on in my life. So I'm super busy starting a career, a new career. So anyway, bottom line is bioidentical hormones. I am not selling. I'm not doing anything but saying that is what I've been doing, but I haven't monitored it the right way, or my body just went cuckoo crazy puffs and all of these things have happened. So what now? So now I take some time and I get this regulated. And I was talking to my husband last night about this. So I get a little sad about this, but I was talking to my husband and I'm like, dang, I mean, how did this happen? And he said, you know what, Tiffy? The good news is, he said, I think this is all such good news. The good news is we know what to do and we know how to fix you now. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this guy that I want something to wring his neck but I love him so much, that loves me so unconditionally. And I'm like, thank you so much. So we're going to fix this. So how are we going to do this? So I have this hormone patch coming my way. And then we're discussing pellets. So testosterone pellets. First of all, I've got to deplete myself a little bit of what's going on because apparently I'm a man right now. But the testosterone pellets, I'm really, really up in the air. I don't know what to do about this. And by the time you listen to this, I will have done it or not done it because I have an appointment next Monday. But I will make this decision because I'm just not sure, because I'm scared, because you all have, if you've listened to me before, I have an eating disorder, or I'm former eating disorder person, if not sure if it ever goes away. But I asked the doctor, am I going to get fat? Is that going to happen when you get pellets? Do you get fat? And I'm so worried about taking this, doing the patch, so on and so forth. And she said, Tiffany, look at your numbers. Look at the red. If you're going to be fat, you're going to be fat right now. So deal with this right now. Know that these numbers are in the red. So I was like, okay, that makes sense to me. So have any of you done this before? Tell me about this. I'm dying to hear. I'm going with my Mahjong sisters tomorrow on a little retreat, and a couple of them have gone through this, so I'm anxious to talk about it. So yeah, how about that? How about your girl telling you have dandruff? Isn't that funny? I think that's pretty funny. Anyway, so all of these things to know, menopause absolutely positively sucks. But it is Mother Nature, and we all have to do to this. You know, you have to have that Michelin ran around your waist. It's like this tire around your waist, but you have to combat that as well with eating and working out. And you all know I've talked about working out. I'm avid, but when I start pulling back from that, it makes me think. But you know what? I think a lot of this, especially today with this, waking up and feeling this way, is anxiety and depression. I have so much anxiety about this, and everyone in every realm of this world has some kind of anxiety and depression. Please don't say you don't, because that's living in denial. I do. I'm anxious about my business. I'm anxious about my body now. I'm anxious about my family and my friends. And, I'm a little depressed today because I'm like, gosh, I'm not that 100% Tiffy, but I am going to be next week. I promise. But that anxiety and depression comes along with a lot of this. And many of you that are listening to this now are probably in my age group, but you girls and guys, there's a lot to be said for anxiety and depression. We are totally going to hit on that at some other time, but this menopause and hormones hits on that certainly 100%. So food. So I was talking to my doctor. So she says, what do you eat? What is your diet? And she knows I eat well. I do. I try to follow the paleo eating plan, and at least 85%. I feel like from time to time I have one too many puppies, and that is my vodka and grapefruit. And so what I'm going to do is I'm cutting that out. I'm doing she did a blood test, and it's called the LEAP. It's a LEAP food elimination plan. So in doing that, we can figure out like what foods are bothering me or what I may have allergies with, the ones that are screaming at my adrenals and my cortisol, and of course the inflammation, because that's one of my main issues is the inflammation in my body. And the doctor even said, you have back and knee, but I'm talking joint pain and neck pain and well, more than neck pain, but a lot of pain lately. So I'm turning to this LEAP plan. And you all know I love Prolon. I've done the Prolon 5-day fasting, the intermittent fasting, and I adore that. But this is something totally, totally different. So the LEAP plan, the elimination plan. So they did the blood test and came back, and I had 4 foods that are absolutely positively no. It's almonds, peanuts, Sole. I never had taste Sole in my life, and strawberries. Go figure. I cannot touch those. So they're eliminating this from my diet and several others. But the good news is I can have beef and chicken and turkey and a myriad of vegetables, some flavor enhancers, but of course no puppies or alcohol, of course. But for 10 days. And what is crazy about that, you would think I'd be allergic to grapefruit juice, and I can have that. So, but it doesn't taste the same as vodka, just PS people. So this plan, I'm on day 2. I'm doing okay because I try not to think about it, but I'm doing fine. I had a steak last night at Pacific Table and a salad. And Charisse, my girl up there, and made my dressing for me. And today I've just had ground beef and eggs, and I'm doing okay. I mean, I really am, but I'm anxious to see 10 days of doing this, eliminating the foods that they suggest eliminate, and see how my body reacts. So then you go, what do you do after that? So then the next phase is the phase 2, 10 more days, and what you eliminate or put back together. And it's interesting because my husband and I are going to Cabo during that 10 days. And then the last 10 days, days of this is when I'm taking the girls to Cabo, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But interesting with this food plan. So it's not even food; it's even chemicals. It's things that you use on your body, you ingest. So all of this comes out in this LEAP test. So working with a counselor. I talk to her quite often. I email a lot, just making sure I can take this, and this, and what can I eat and what can I not eat. And, my big thing is, okay, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. We're not going to make a mistake. We're not going to mistake. And she's like, you know what? Don't worry about failure. Worry about success and how great you're going to feel after you eliminate these foods. And, I know a lot of people would say bah humbug on the food thing, but think about it. Hey, do you eat something and then the next day wake up or the middle of the night and go, ooh, something doesn't agree with me? It's food. It's food, and food is nourishment, and food is our life, and food is our body. And you all have heard me say, God gave us one body. You better take care of it because you're going to be 55 here in a minute. Right? So this LEAP plan, I'm pretty excited about. So I'm posting just a little bit, not enough because I'm not that educated in it. So day by day, I'm just kind of posting one on my Instagram story, one item of one complete meal that I'm having. So I'm pretty excited about it, but I think in 30 days I'll know. And I love almonds. I don't have to have peanuts, but you know what? Peanuts are hidden in a lot of things, these, nut allergies. And I'm not allergic to all tree nuts at all, but it's interesting because peanuts, I must be ingesting things that have a lot of peanuts in it. So, and peanuts made, things in factories with peanuts. So we'll see about that. I had someone the other day ask me, so are you doing this to lose weight? No, I'm not, because I'm determined to figure out why the excess, pain in my body. But no, to be honest with you, do I always feel like I need to lose weight? I always feel like I need to lose weight. But that's my mind. That's where my mind goes, and I think it will the rest of my life. But it's just managing. How in the world do you manage your brain going there and you facing reality or living with life? And sometimes I go, gosh, do you do all these different food plans because you're trying to lose weight? I don't think so. I think I'm finally at that age where I go, okay, I think I've got this. I think I'm around 25 pounds or so, and I have a lot of muscle. And if I don't get my act together with my hormones, I'm going to lose my muscle. And if I don't eat properly, I'm going to lose my muscle. And that's hard to get back. Very, very hard. I'm 55. I've been working out since I was a little girl, and I would hate to see I'd have to put all that muscle back on together. But anyway, so yes, so this is, if some of you have questions, it's not Whole30. This is very, 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 very specific to my body and my blood and how that test came out. And so I'm anxious to talk to you about that each week. Maybe I'll just throw that in on each little podcast. So anyway, so that is that. And aging process and life changes. So I've told you all before that Greg, he actually sold his company in Blackman Mooring back October 1st of 2019. And we are still trying to find our new norm. And bless his heart now, a wife in menopause. But anyway, Greg is doing well. And he loves Austin, and we sold our home in Austin to my former husband, Kennedy's dad, and his wife, and they are moving in actually as we speak, I believe. So I'm so excited. I'm going to go see the house next week. And some people said, do you miss that house? I miss that house because I helped raise my daughter, and my husband and I had that together, and the view is just absolutely spectacular over the canyons in Austin and the preserve. But I don't miss the heavy responsibility of having that home and my home in Fort Worth. And it's when you enjoy it, but when it starts sinking the life out of you because of the responsibility financially and the responsibility of the upkeep, because it's over an acre. And it was a lot, a pool that that we had to do a lot of maintenance on before we sold. And it was just an enormous burden, but because we couldn't be there at the same time. So we're like, okay, Greg still loves training. He's a jiu-jitsu mofo. He's a brown belt. Actually, we just found out he needs to start teaching again next week. So he's going to be teaching again in Austin for his working towards his black belt. So we needed a place in Austin. So we decided to lease for a year. Y'all come see us down on Rainey Street, downtown Austin. And it is, I have to say, it is fabulous. We absolutely love it. We live on the 30th floor overlooking the Capitol, downtown, and the lake. And the sunsets are amazing, and we just absolutely love it. I did this one by myself. I decorated it, all the decoration. Pam Flowers helped me with colors. But it was integrating my furniture, which was old world, heavy Italian, French countryside, was the home in Austin. So let me tell you what. Selling pieces that are from the 1400s, no one really wants to give you what that's worth. That's not the trend. The trend interiors right now is certainly not heavy old world. So what I had to do was take a very modern, clean, contemporary home in Austin, take the Rainey Street home or the condo, and I'm trying to mix a little bit of the old world with some high gloss and just a lot modern contemporary pieces. And crazy story. So I have several paintings that we purchased through the years. And one of the paintings just looked ragged and old. And so it had an interesting little tear on it. So I took it to a frame shop, Marty and Pat's here in Fort Worth, which I adore, y'all. And they said, you know what? This is an old painting. You need to take this to Dow. So I took it down to Dow, Mr. Dow, and he determined that this painting is from the late 1700s. And it's on the reason why I don't know. I'm trying to be an art curator here, but or a historian. But he was showing us how it's on just almost a board and the paint. But how does something that preserved? So what we did, we took these paintings. I had actually 3. The other 2 were not. Well, actually 4. The others were not near as old, but they're still very old. But I took them from their old, rustic, beaten up, old frames, and we put them into new, beautiful, bright frames. And it's a way of taking that old world and mixing it with the new, and hopefully it'll turn out beautiful. I'm crossing my fingers, but we love it. Greg and I love it. We love that we do not have to we don't have to get in our car. We walk everywhere we go. We can Uber. A lot of people scooter, but it's not a good idea with my back. But it is just so great. My husband, Greg, meets people everywhere, and he meets the most interesting people. He'll talk to anyone, and I walk up and bartenders know him and concierges know him, and it's just such a great thing. And you know what? It's turnkey, and then we come home to our home in Fort Worth, which I absolutely adore. And thank you, 360 Magazine, again, Mita, for featuring us on the January issue. That was such an honor, and that is a labor of love. I love it. I keep telling my husband I'm not quite finished yet, but he says we're finished, but no, we're not finished. Are you ever finished with a home? I don't think so, right? So anyway, things that are coming up for us. Greg and I are going to Cabo here in a few weeks to close on our home there, and it's a villa, 3-bedroom villa, and we're pretty excited. We got married there in 2011. Love it. It is absolutely our 1,000% happy place, and we just are so excited because we have this opportunity. Sold the Austin home. We have decided to do the villa, and I'm so excited for everyone to see that as well too. So he and I are going to close here in a couple of weeks, and look for the pictures of that and everywhere. And then we're turning around. It's TCU Spring Break. And I'm so excited. Kennedy and I are taking 4 of her sorority sisters, 5, another one of my dear friends, 2 of my dear friends, and we are going for a girls' week in Cabo. So we're so excited. And with that said, the girls that are going, so here is something that I really, I've never done this before. I've had children come to my home. I've had, kids throughout the years, but I've really never taken this many girls on a trip to a foreign country by myself. So here's my thoughts. So I was a little nervous because Kennedy's an only child. And so I was talking to her about it, and she's turning 21, but the drinking age is 18 over there. So it really doesn't matter because everyone's definitely over 18 that's going with us. But I was really nervous about asking because it's a huge responsibility for a mom. So with my daughter and a couple others being over 21, I had to set some hard, fast rules. So, and I wonder what you think about this, because I'm sure I'll have judgers, but I said, Kennedy, if you don't mind, we are not leaving the resort. I'm not taking these girls over to Mexico, and I know what I can control, but we're not leaving the resort. And she 1000% said, I'm with you, Mom. I mean, we've got 5 restaurants on the property and do all that, and we don't have to do that. So I'm like, okay, I was a little nervous, or the sorority sister's going to be nervous and say, no, we're out. We're not doing this. I'm not going to do that. So I hear back from the girls. They're in. They already bought their tickets. They're going. They weren't concerned they didn't have to go to Cabo, Wabo, and down on Squids Row or whatever that's called, because I've done that. It's not that fun. You just kind of go, I want to go back there. So I was very pleased that the girls were that way. And, a couple of the girls, their parents had to think about it. Now, mind you, these parents are from all over the United States. They really don't know me. Let me think. No, none of the 4 girls that are under the age of 21 know me. I've met one of them's parents one time, but I mean, not really who Tiffy is. You know what I mean? Like, really, would you really get them down there and let them go out? And they're all under one roof, but are you really going to do that? But I got a couple of calls from moms, and like a great parent should do is a great parent should basically interview me and say, tell us how the transportation's going to work. Tell us about, and it was refreshing. And, a friend of mine said, so were you a little bit put off by that? Are you kidding me? I need to tell these moms and dads exactly where their girls are going. So we've talked about it. We talked about transportation. We talked about how we're, the food and everything. And, and you just have to be careful there. I mean, we're going the resort's great, but just be careful with the water everywhere else. And of course, there's the alcohol component. So, it's a new phase of my life with my daughter. Like I said, we've traveled together as parents, but I'm not the only parent. I wasn't the only parent going. And I've asked my husband to go with us, and he's like, nope, y'all have a big time. So he's not going with us, but we are going to have a wonderful time. I'm so excited about it. It is Kennedy's birthday celebration week, and she's turning 21. And of course, in Mexico, she's had the tequila before in Mexico for sure. And think about it too. Think about how people react the first time to alcohol. That's another thing we have to think about is with these girls, I have to be just very careful. And I mean, myself, my goodness, I'm going to be coming off of a elimination plan. Oh my goodness, they better watch me. But seriously, just a lot of responsibility. And but I'm looking forward to it. I cannot wait for some of my friends to see the sunrise in the morning and the sunset in the evening in beautiful Cabo at Las Ventanas. So I'm so excited to share that. So really, really happy place for me. I'm so excited for that. So I just want to wrap this last part up with, I want to talk to you about being 55 and changing careers or shifting gears, because I'm always a chef, and I certainly still do work and contract for other people, but it's an interesting ride. So last April, I think I've told you, last April, we, my daughter, again, for years, and my friend Ellen in Austin, for years, Tiffy, Mom, please start an Instagram. You'd be so great. I would go to different, I would see different chefs or restaurants or interior people or whatever. Hey, let me see your Instagram. You have to have all your food on it. I didn't have it. I had a Facebook with a lot of followers, but I didn't have an Instagram. So it was time. So I said, when I do it, I'm going to do it right. So last April, we decided to do it. And I had this in the back of my mind that I've always wanted to brand myself because I branded many, many companies and many products throughout my life, and I'm very proud of that. But it was time to do it for me. So, boy, it's like, Mom, our first, we were, Kennedy and I were in Scottsdale, and we did a couple of posts, and I had someone that was helping me, a dear friend that was helping me, and that was not really his passion, and he was moving away, and he's like, this is bigger than I am, and I want to find you someone that's fabulous to help you. And you know what? We started this Instagram. We got going with it. We did this a few months now. You know what? I was talking to my producer, Paul, earlier today. And, I'm very impatient. I'm very impatient when it comes to you. I'm like, people follow me. Why won't you follow me? So we've been in business since April, and we have 1,800-ish followers on Instagram. But I'm just like, why? I don't get it. And the market's saturated. It's absolutely saturated. It's interesting ways to find followers. And some of you that are listening to me know exactly what I'm talking about. And some of you are going, I don't have a clue. My dad's like, I don't know what you're talking. I'll follow you anywhere you want to go. So on came my fabulous social media manager and one of my precious best friends now, Hillary, and she has changed and transformed my business. My husband has always said, and he's a very successful businessman, and he said, always hire people that are smarter than you. And that's what I've done. Those of you that say, oh, you should do it yourself, shame on you. Right now, I don't want to do that. Right now, I don't want to do that. Hillary's smarter than I am. She knows how to put this thing together, this beautiful Instagram. And then what happens? She goes on and creates a website and a blog for me. So we're doing that. And you know what? It's a lot. And if y'all rewind, remember, I'm going through some hormone issues too. So poor Hillary and Paul, my people in my life. So then the website comes around and the blog, and we're working on that. We have so many fun ideas, great ideas. And then boom, Paul Rogers, our producer, he said, let's do a podcast. Who in the world is going to listen to me? I'm serious. I don't even want to listen to myself. So we started the podcast, and guys, thank you all. Thank every one of you that are listening and are subscribing, and text me a screenshot of the notification on Tuesday morning when our new podcast comes out. And you are all making my so-called fabulous so fabulous for me and my team. So yeah. We've got the YouTube going on, which again, what's kind of funny in this whole thing? I don't know what the heck we're doing, but we're doing it. And I'm driving this bus, and there's a lot of people pushing this bus behind me, and I'm just along for this fabulous ride, but we're going to do this. And I have this written here. Go after your dreams later in life, even if you have skeptics and people that don't believe in you. Believe in yourself. Everyone, thank you so much for joining me today and to my so-called fabulous, and I'll see you next time.